Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick little part 2 video of Koi Talk. I kind of liked how that one went. And what I'm going to cover in this one, if you'll remember on the first video, and I will link it to the first one in case you didn't catch that one. Talked about, things to think about before getting into the fish hobby, and it pretty much ended off with adding the fish to the pond. So I wanted to have a quick little part 2 just to cover some things to watch out for, to look out for, to remember, to keep in mind. That first part is, now the fish are in your pond, you got to remember how they breathe. All right, they breathe by absorbing oxygen through the water with their gills, and in some extent through their body itself. Okay, so that's why it's important to always check your ammonia, your nitrite. Test that stuff in the morning and every night after you add fish. The reason being is, once you add the fish, that's what's going to start your biofiltration process. The ammonia the fish release is what feeds your beneficial bacteria. That process will really not happen until there are fish in the pond. As for me, what I usually do is I have some experimental goldfish. Not to sound cruel or anything, those are the fish I usually put in so I can start feeding them, so I can get the beneficial bacteria to start growing. And also, as most pond keepers know, buy yourself a quality beneficial bacteria. Some say it's a waste of money because it really doesn't work. It's no such thing. It does work if you get a good quality beneficial bacteria. Back to having fish in, you have to watch those parameters. Whenever your ammonia gets up and your nitrite gets up, those toxins get absorbed by the fish. So now the more chemicals, toxins that the fish are absorbing into their blood, the less oxygen the fish can absorb. Okay? So that's why you want to stay on top of it during the whole nitrification cycle, establishing of the beneficial bacteria, all of that thing, which New Pond Syndrome, videos on that all over too. When you start to see, as I've mentioned, your ammonia start to go down, your nitrite's going to go up. If your ammonia spikes and it's not coming down, you can always buy ammonia binders. They do sell ammonia binders. It's a commercial product. I try not to use too many chemicals. That's why it's a very, very smart idea to start with smaller fish, or start with a couple koi, let it establish, because it's easier for the beneficial bacteria and the biofilter to work with less of a load. Let it get established. Let the beneficial bacteria start growing. And then add fish. If you get a nitrite spike, you can trim that back by doing water changes, or you can add salt. If I remember right, please Google this on any koi site. Don't mark my words. But if I remember right, it's 0.3% volume. So if you had 1,000 gallons, 0.3% of that, doing the math, is like 3 pounds, I'm guessing. Just trying to do it in my head quick. So you could have, by volume, 3 pounds, gallons of salt. And like I said, make sure to Google that. I'm not 100% sure that's correct. Again, I will never tell you wrong. If I don't know, I will tell you. And again, I am not an expert. I'm learning just like everybody else is. I just pass on all the things I learn. Salt and water changes can fix your nitrite. For the most part, a water change can fix your ammonia as well, and then your ammonia binders. Nitrate, if you get spikes, water changes. So after you add fish, and if your beneficial bacteria is not catching up, is not processing the waste it needs to waste or to process, water change, water change, water change. It's the only way you're going to keep the levels low enough for your fish to be healthy. For the most part, they'll handle it up to 0.5 parts per million, which seems a lot. It seems like a high number, but you really don't want it over that for any length of time, because at that point it starts absorbing into the fish. Again, we breathe the air, fish breathe water. The first sign you will see in a fish that's starving from oxygen and may have some type of ammonia poisoning or nitrite poisoning is they'll be at the top gasping for air. Okay? When you start seeing that in a fish, it's usually a bad sign. Test your parameters instantly. Be prepared to do water changes. Add aeration, plenty of aeration. You can't over-oxygenate the water. Add plenty of aeration, especially during the new phase, because that oxygen helps break stuff down too, and it constantly is pumping new oxygen into the water. And you might even see fish huddle up around the aerator stones, because that's where the highest concentration of oxygen is. But gasping at the top, huddling around aeration stones, typically are the two signs you'll see. I'll wrap up with one more point. Your tests will tell you all of this information. The internet will tell you all of this information. The one thing that I strongly encourage is when you first add your fish, seriously watch the fish as much as you possibly can in them first few days to couple weeks. And if you're like anybody else that gets in this hobby, that's not going to be a problem. The reason you did it is because you enjoy the fish. You like watching them. Watch them, observe them, and remember how they act. Because when things start to go wrong in your water, the very first true indicator you will get is the behavior of your fish. They will start acting differently. They will start looking differently, feeding differently, all of those things. So when you start seeing your fish acting different, that is the very first indicator something is wrong. Do your water tests, make your water changes, check them over for diseases. You'll eventually have to get a microscope. I'll probably do a video on my microscope here sooner than later. Luckily, and I'm not even going to say it. So that's all I got, guys. Just to recap quick, again, part 2. After you have the fish in, observing the fish, understanding the fish's behaviors, so when their behavior changes, it's an indicator to you that something has changed. Making sure you're staying on top of your water tests and your water changes for that first month that you have your new fish. Test daily, twice daily, in the morning and in the evening, right after sunset, little after sunset. Because that fish load is going to start your biofilter. And your biofilter needs to catch up before it can properly process the ammonia and all of the contaminants, the big 3, ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. And it will take some time. You may have to do a water change every couple days, but that's what's going to keep your fish healthy. So again, I'll probably do a part 3, a part 4. I'll keep sharing it. I'll just keep calling it Koi Chat. I like how it sounds. So if you guys have any input, any questions, again, if I don't know the answer, I will try to find it. If I can't find it, I will lead you to somebody that I believe, does know the answer. And again, I'm no expert. I want everybody to understand that, but as I learn, I'm going to share it. It's part of the hobby, sharing information, sharing ideas, tricks, and again, everybody's pond's different. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, guys, and always remember to keep on investing, keep on improving, and thanks to everybody that has watched these videos, everybody that has subscribed, getting a pretty neat little network, which I hope would happen. So, as always, guys, we'll catch you on the next video. Talk to you later.